Welcome to our channel, where we journey back over 100 years to explore incredible, random moments frozen in time through historical photographs. Each episode uncovers stories behind these captivating images, revealing a fascinating glimpse into the lives, events, and innovations that shaped our world. Join us as we bring history to life, one photo at a time, and discover the extraordinary in the ordinary from a century ago. This 1922 photograph captures Phoebe Ann Moses Butler, famously known as Annie Oakley, demonstrating her exceptional marksmanship by aiming a rifle. Annie Oakley was an iconic American sharpshooter and a star of Buffalo Bill's Wild West show. Her remarkable skills made her a legend, challenging the traditional roles of women in her era. This 1922 photograph captures a moment from a beauty contest, showcasing two women proudly holding their trophies. Their expressions and outfits reflect the fashion and cultural attitudes of the early 20th century. Despite the serious demeanor, the image gives us a glimpse into the evolution of beauty standards and competitions from that era. This 1922 photo from Washington, D.C. captures a woman holding a cane flask during Prohibition. Disguised as a walking cane, the flask allowed individuals to secretly carry alcohol during a time when its sale and consumption were illegal in the United States. The image offers a glimpse into the creative ways people navigated the restrictive laws of the Prohibition era. This photo from April 1922 shows a group of women from the National Women's Party, a key organization in the fight for women's suffrage and equality in the United States. These women were instrumental in advocating for the rights and political power of women during the early 20th century. This photo features Madame Asta Suvrina and her dog, both listening to the radio. The charming and quirky image captures a moment of early 20th century technology, showcasing the novelty and fascination with radio communication during that era. This photo shows a broken-down Model T Ford. Its front axle collapsed on a street, highlighting the mechanical challenges of early automobile. In 1922, in the Volga estuary, a beluga sturgeon was caught. It was around 23 feet and weighed 3,463 pounds. They truly are dinosaurs of the sea. This 1922 photograph captures Albert Einstein and his wife, Elsa, enjoying a traditional Japanese meal with local hosts during their visit to Japan. The image highlights a moment of cultural exchange, with Einstein's warm interaction reflecting his curiosity and appreciation for different cultures. This 1922 photograph captures the test flight of Pescara's helicopter, an early experimental rotary-wing aircraft. The image shows the innovative design in action inside a large hangar, with several onlookers observing the historic event. This test flight represents a significant step in the development of vertical flight technology. This haunting image shows the final message left by 47 miners trapped in the Argonaut mine in Jackson, California. Written with carbide lamps on the rock face 4,350 feet below ground, it reads, 3 o'clock, gas getting strong. This was their last communication before succumbing to the toxic conditions, marking a tragic chapter in mining history. This intriguing photo shows U.S. Army men seated around a table while one soldier, mounted on horseback, jumps over it. The image captures a moment of military training or a demonstration of horsemanship, showcasing the skill and precision required in such maneuvers. Composition is both dramatic and surreal, highlighting the unique challenges faced by cavalry soldiers. This photograph shows director Alan Dwan using an enormous megaphone, 4 feet in diameter and 10 feet long, to communicate with 1,200 extras on a film set. The image highlights the innovative methods employed in early filmmaking to ensure directions could be clearly heard across large distances, long before the advent of modern sound equipment. This photograph from October 7, 1914, shows painters hanging from suspended wires as they work on the Brooklyn Bridge, 31 years after it first opened. The image highlights the daring and skill of the workers who maintained this iconic New York City landmark, showcasing the immense scale and complexity of the bridge's structure. This is the original April 18, 1936 booking photo for Charles Lucky Luciano, Luciano is considered the father of organized crime in New York and was the first to divide the city sections controlled by 5 mob families. A detective took this crime scene photo in 1918 after children found the body of Gaspare Candela stuffed in a drum and dumped in a field in Brooklyn, New York. This 1940 photograph captures New Yorkers cooling off in the Astoria public pool during the summer, with the iconic Hellgate Railroad Bridge towering in the background. The image reflects a moment of relaxation and community amidst the urban landscape, offering a glimpse into the everyday life of the city during that era. Workers lay bricks to pave 28th Street in Manhattan on October 2, 1930. An unemployed man in an old coat lays on a pier in the New York City docks during the Great Depression, 1935. The main concourse of Grand Central Terminal in New York is seen from the Campbell apartment in this 1937 photo. Posh apartment in one of America's grandest train stations was the playground of financier John Campbell in the roaring 1920. Workers dig in Delancey Street on New York's Lower East Side in this photo dated July 29, 1908. The historical pictures released online for the first time show New York in the late 19th and early 20th century. This photograph shows survivors of the Tokyo earthquake receiving rice at Shida Park. The image captures a moment of relief and resilience as people gather to receive much-needed food aid in the aftermath of the devastating earthquake struck Tokyo. The scene reflects the community's efforts to support one another during a time of immense hardship and recovery. This photo shows clowns performing at a children's hospital, bringing joy and entertainment to young patients. The cheerful atmosphere, complete with music and colorful costumes, provided a much-needed break from the hospital routine, uplifting both the children and the staff. This 1922 photograph captures the aftermath of the Knickerbocker Theater disaster in Washington, D.C. On January 28th, the theater's roof collapsed under the weight of heavy snow, killing 98 people and injuring 133. The image shows the destruction, and the large crowd gathered as rescue efforts were underway, marking one of the deadliest disasters in Washington, D.C.'s history. This 1923 photograph depicts hired mourners in a Jewish cemetery. The mourners, covered in cloaks and seated by graves, were traditionally employed to perform mourning rituals and prayers for the deceased. The image captures a somber moment, reflecting cultural practices surrounding death and remembrance in Jewish communities during the early 20th century. This 1923 photograph captures a group of medical students gathered around a patient's bed at the clinical club. The image reflects the educational practices of the time, where students observed real-life cases to enhance their understanding and skills in clinical medicine. The setting, likely in a hospital, underscores the hands-on approach to medical training during the early 20th century. A Berlin banker counting stacks of bundled marks in 1923. This 1922 photograph shows an Austrian nobleman traveling with his unique traveling candy store. The elaborately designed vehicle, adorned with decorative elements, represents an early example of mobile commerce, bringing sweets directly to customers on the road. The image captures the charm and innovation of the period. This photo from July 10, 1922, captures a massive No More War demonstration in Germany. Thousands gathered, holding signs that read, "Nie wieder Krieg, Never Again War," reflecting the deep desire for peace in the aftermath of World War I. The event symbolizes the widespread anti-war sentiment during the interwar period. This 1923 photo captures a girls' basketball team, proudly posing in their uniforms. Their determined expressions and classic attire reflect the early days of women's sports, highlighting the progress of female athletes in gaining recognition and opportunities in competitive sports. This historical photo captures a group of students and teachers at a girls' school in Bahrain on the Arabian Peninsula. The image reflects the early 20th century efforts to educate women in the region, marking a significant step towards women's empowerment and education in the Middle East. Helen F. Day, a blind woman who published Searchlight, publication for blind children. She is probably holding a device for printing in Braille. This historical photo shows a delegation from the Minnesota League of Women Voters presenting a petition with a mile-long list of signatures in support of a World Court proposal. The image captures a significant moment in the early 20th century movement, advocating for women's involvement in global peace efforts and international law. This photo shows Harry B. Burt, a confectioner from Youngstown, Ohio, who filed the first patent for his unique method of chocolate coating ice cream bars, known as Good Humor. His innovation revolutionized the ice cream industry, making his Good Humor bars a beloved treat across America.